From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome you watching the Saturday edition of This Is Exclusive. It was meant to be a gathering of college pass-outs. In fact, it was an alumni association party that was taking place in Dubai, in a building that is owned by the Pakistanis. It turns out that the Indian diaspora there gave a platform to a warmonger, a bigot like Shahid Afridi. Tonight, we expose them on This Is Exclusive, but up first, let me take you through the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Dubai event sparks outrage as Kerala group hosts Shahid Afridi amid India-Pakistan tension. When Republic confronts the organizer of the event, he distances himself, denies any involvement. Reports suggest that the Southern Theatre Command of the PLA organized troop forces to conduct combat readiness patrols in the territorial water and airspace around China's Huangyandao and nearby areas. US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says the threat China poses is real and imminent. Ladies and gentlemen, just about a few days ago, this happened in Dubai, when a get-together was actually taking place amongst a college pass-out. In fact, they would be a part of an alumni association. What was meant to be some sort of a celebration turned out a platform for a bigot, a Pakistani bigot, a warmonger, a liar, named Shahid Afridi. In fact, it turns out a fresh political storm has basically erupted after a video basically surfaced from an event in Dubai featuring former Pakistani cricketer Shahid Afridi, a man infamous for his anti-India tirades. Just weeks after mocking India in the wake of the Pahalgam terror attack, Afridi was seen at a gathering organized by the Cochin University BTech Alumni Association at the Pakistan Association Dubai building, sparking a furious backlash. The group now claims that he turned up uninvited, citing a coinciding event at the same venue, but the damage was already done. Images of warmth with a man who trivialized Indian lives have now struck a nerve, raising some sharp questions about judgment, accountability, and national dignity. In fact, unlike others, we did actually question them. In a short while from now, when we put out that entire sequence with the organizer, who can actually be seen in those very videos, suddenly says that Shahid Afridi was not even invited. First, take a look at this report.
A video from Dubai event of ex-Pakistani cricketer has sparked a huge political storm in India. Weeks after Shahid Afridi mocked the Indian side in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terrorist attack, a Kerala community in Dubai welcomed the former Pakistan cricketer, inviting backlash. The Cochin University BTech Alumni Association organized the event at the Pakistan Association Dubai last week and extended hospitality to Afridi, who has time and again made distasteful remarks against Indians.
I think Cuba is lucky to have us here. I think to say anything, they will speak. They are very happy to see an Indian Malayali crowd here.
After the criticism, Cuba released a statement claiming that the Pakistani cricketers turned up at the event uninvited as they were attending some other program at the same venue. Remember, it was this same Pakistan ex-cricketer Shahid Afridi who also mocked Indian media's coverage of the incident, likening it to a Bollywood production, and appeared to take a veiled jab at Indian cricketers for accusing Pakistan of involvement in the attack.
Well, this event took place on 25th of May. The same very day, Shahid Afridi was seen at the venue. It was held at the Pakistan Association in Dubai, also known as PAD. It's a space that's often used for the South Asian community gatherings. Now, the organizers, the UAE chapter of the Cochin University BTech Alumni Association, also known as Cuba. The event was titled Memory Steps 2025, meant to be a reunion and a networking meet. But this is what happened on the sidelines that has triggered a political storm back home. A gathering of nostalgia now mired in controversy. Here's a closer look at those details. Well, in fact, on your screen is the organizer. And it's important that you see this man very closely, because in a short while from now, you will see another side of this entire story. Let me just quickly explain. When we reached out, we're going to first play this video for a minute. I'm going to now explain some of the details that I've been able to gather from our sources here in Dubai. It turns out that this Pakistani cricketer, Shahid Afridi, was actually in Dubai. He was there inaugurating his own restaurant. It turns out that this particular building, which is also known as PAD, and the organizers here had actually rented this entire space. It turns out that when Shahid Afridi was present in that building, the very organizers of this event actually noticed him and brought him from that very place and asked him to come in. Whereas if you look at the statement that has been put out by this organization, they say that he came in uninvited. Ladies and gentlemen, does it really look like uninvited to you when you see this man ushering him inside, and not just taking him inside, ushering him all the way up to the stage? Now let's take you through the other details of it. As I said, does it really look uninvited to you, ladies and gentlemen? Here you can see the red carpet welcome for former Pakistani cricketer Shahid Afridi. He was given a rousing reception with the community cheering loudly as he arrived. You can see Afridi walking up to the stage with performers visible in the background. Now, in response to this warm welcome, Afridi was heard saying, "Ho gaya, boom boom." The visuals leave no room for any doubt or any confusion about whether at all he was invited or not. This isn't just a casual appearance. It's a clear display of honor and recognition for a man who has continued with his anti-India tirades. The enthusiasm that has been shown by the host and attendees speaks volumes, especially given Afridi's recent controversial remarks. Such a public embrace only fuels the ongoing outrage and questions that are still being raised about the event's intention.
Good evening all. I think Cuba is lucky to have us here. I think to say anything, they will speak. They are very happy to see an Indian Malayali crowd here. Good evening all. I think Cuba is lucky to have this year.
Viewers, here's how Shahid Afridi was escorted to the stage by the organizers, clearly showing the respect that was accorded to him. Once on stage, he was handed a microphone to address the entire crowd. Perhaps a person who's not even invited, how does he end up getting this entire microphone? Shortly after that, a memento was presented to him as a token of appreciation. Throughout his presence on the stage, the audience applauded enthusiastically, underscoring the warm reception he received at the event. These moments clearly indicate the level of hospitality that was extended to Shahid Afridi during this entire gathering, adding to the controversy surrounding his appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, before I take you through the details of it, while this broadcast was actually going on, I've actually received a message from someone in Dubai. In fact, to verify this entire story, we have reached out to multiple people. They say that why are we basically maligning any one particular community? Let me make this very clear. The purpose of putting out this story was not to malign any particular community. That's not the question here. The question is how exactly an Indian diaspora based out of Dubai can willingly allow this to happen, especially when such a dastardly attack was carried out on Indian soil. Before I take you through the details of it, this is what has exactly happened. Ladies and gentlemen, this organizer, whom you saw wearing that kurta, if I'm not wrong, it's a light blue kurta that he was wearing. His name is Deepu A.S. Republic basically confronted Deepu A.S., who is allegedly part of the organizing member of the event. He claims that he was not part of the organizing committee and was only sharing information provided by the organizers. Now, according to Deepu, Shahid Afridi was not a guest at the event but was present in a nearby premises for a different event and briefly appeared on the stage. When Republic actually questioned the organizer, Deepu's presence at the event and his sharing of the stage with Shahid Afridi, given Afridi's history of anti-tyrant statements, Deepu seems completely evasive and hesitant to even answer those questions, eventually stating that he doesn't want to give a personal statement and only shares the information provided by the organizers. Ladies and gentlemen, we reached out to Deepu A.S. This is an exclusive by my colleague Soumya.
Mr. Deepu, can you please explain your presence there and sharing the same stage with Shahid Afridi, the same person who has been making anti-India statements throughout ever since Operation Sindoor. So, can you please explain your presence next to Shahid Afridi?
First of all, let me make it clear, I was not part of any kind of organizing or anything on this event. I can just tell you something which the organizers have informed me. The same thing I can tell you. Okay, what they have informed me is, Afridi was not a guest for this event. Okay, the event was conducted in a premises where next to that premise, Afridi was also present for some other event.
So, I'm sorry for cutting you in between, even though if Mr. Shahid Afridi was not one of the guests.
Let me just complete this one, please, because I'm just giving a version of what the organizers have told me. I'm just giving that statement, that's it. So what happened is, Afridi was present in the same venue next to this particular area where this event happened. And he came inside, and definitely he came into the stage, and he was there present for I think maybe 3 minutes or maybe 4 minutes or something. And he addressed the people, and he went from there. And this one, from the organizer's side, what they have told me is they have not invited him, neither any kind of invitation was given to him. And he
Mr. Deepu, what were you doing in that event? In what capacity were you present there in that event? Can you please explain us? In what capacity were you present in that event? And with that, even though if he was not a part of that particular program, why was he invited on that same stage where that program was happening and you also shared that stage with him?
Actually, from where you called me, I didn't get you. Can you just repeat it?
Can you please explain us in what capacity were you present there?
No, 1 second. Can you just let me know what is your name and from where you are calling? I forgot actually.
My name is Soumya and I'm a journalist, Mr. Deepu. I just want to understand in what capacity were you there in that event?
Samaya, let me just tell you, Samaya. Just a second. Okay. First of all, I don't want you to quote my name anywhere because you have not called me for anything like that. I hope you are not quoting me because I am just giving a version of what the organizers have told you. Told me actually. I'm just giving you a statement. That's it. And whatever is there, this is told by the organizers. We can tell as per the organizers.
Mr. Deepu,
And
can you
don't
please
quote me anywhere else.
clarify in what capacity were you there in that event? And when you go on to say that Shahid Afridi was not there to be part of that event, why was he, despite that, why was he invited and why was he made to share that stage with you?
Samay, 1 second. They just, this particular guy, what they call Afridi and a couple of his people came there, he just spoke somewhere, something in the stage and he went from there. And the organizers, what they have told me is, if anybody has hurt due to this reason, it is totally unintentional intention actually, this particular thing, and they have already apologized actually. If somebody has hurt this one, they already apologized also.
No, there are different
I think
statements
I'm not
that
sure.
are coming,
They
Mr.
are-
Deepu.
they are-
First, it
they are-
was the
I think
statement that was issued that it was an unannounced visit.
What?
There are different statements. Now there's a statement
No, no.
from the organizers
One
that
thing,
it was an
one-
unannounced
one-
visit. Now the statement that is being made by you is completely different. Can you please explain in what
No, no,
capacity were you
definitely-
present there
definitely-
and what made
definitely-
you
definitely
invite
because-
Shahid Afridi and share that same
Samay,
stage
let
with
me-
him?
Let me just complete it, please. Okay, are you going live or something with this one?
I am asking in what capacity were you
No,
present
no, are you
there?
going live or something in with this one, this call? Because you have not taken any permission from me. I'm just asking you.
No, I am
Are you
just
going live or
asking.
something?
No, Mr. Deepu, I'm just asking you. I just want a
No, let
statement.
me. Can you just let me know? Are you going live or something with this call?
No,
Because you have
I'm
told me
just
anything.
asking you. I want a clarification
Okay, if
because
you are
I'm
not
pursuing
going-
this.
If you are not going, no, you are not going any live or anything with this call, right?
No, I am just asking you that
Fine.
I am just
Okay, now
taking a
what
statement and
organization-
clarification
what-
from you. Can you
No,
please
no,
answer
I
just
don't-
one question, Mr.
I-
Deepu?
Samay,
In what
Samay, one
capacity
second.
were you there?
Samay, I don't want to give any kind of statement on this particular one. I am just giving a statement by the organizer. I am not part of organizing
See,
team.
if you were
What they have
not
told me, I am
part
just
of the
telling you.
organizing
And
team,
that's
in
it.
what makes you pass on their statement? Because you are one of the people who had shared that stage with Shahid Afridi. Are you an Indian national, Mr. Deepu?
Samay, I don't wish to give anything else on this one.
Mr. Deepu, are you an Indian national? Are you an Indian citizen?
On this particular matter.
Mr.
Okay.
Deepu, can you
They
please
have
answer?
the
Are you
approval
an
on this
Indian
particular
citizen?
matter. Okay.
Are you an Indian citizen?
We put out the full story. While Deepu basically says that, why do you want a statement? Now, what is there to really hide? If you believe that he was uninvited, if you're gesturing all the way, taking him to the stage, and then you do not want to make a statement, what is there to hide? In fact, this entire issue has snowballed with the ABVP now filing a complaint. This is against the Cochin University of Science and Technology alumni group and has sought the passport cancellation of the Cuba office bearers for hosting a former Pakistani cricketer Shahid Afridi at an event held in the UAE. ABVP Kerala State Secretary EU Ishwara Prasad has filed a formal complaint with the Prime Minister, the External Affairs Minister of India, and urged the university to initiate strict action against the misuse of the university's name in the first place. And important to point out that it is not against any particular community. It is against those who actually invited a warmonger like that of Shahid Afridi. Joining us on this broadcast is Shravan Biraj. He's the National Secretary of the ABVP. Shravan, in fact, as a responsible media network, we reached out to Deepu. He says that, why are you even quoting me? I say that it is necessary that people really know what's really happening, because they say that a statement has been put out. He was uninvited. Does it really look uninvited? Because I am given to understand that they called him from the lobby and gave him this entire stage, entire platform.
Yeah, exactly. So coming to the issue, first of all, Akhila Bharati Vidyarthi Parishad totally condemns the move of the Cochin University BTech Alumni Association, also called as Cuba, because this has not only defamed the Cochin University, but this has defamed the Kerala community and the Bharatiya society. It is visible from the videos which is available over the internet and the other sources that he has been welcomed by the organizers with percussion instruments playing beside, and he was hugging him. This is all an action of a pure welcome and welcoming Shahid Afridi, who has attacked India through his social media tweets and he was supporting the Pakistanis who has attacked Bharatiya citizens in the Pahalgam. So this has to be condemned. And the other thing, the act of welcoming him should be considered as an act of terrorism or act as a call for a terror call from the organizer side. And I have seen one press release note which has released by this association Cuba. And I was very shocking to see that they haven't mentioned a term called Pakistan. They have mentioned a neighboring country of Bharat. What does that mean? Two cricket players from a neighboring country. That's what they have stated. And the place which was happened, they have mentioned it as PAD instead of Pakistan Association Dubai.
I just want to say something, Shravan. This is not against any community. This is not against any community in Kerala, first of all. I would once again like to reiterate that we are only questioning the diaspora there who have actually allowed this to happen. And I believe that it is our right to ask these questions to the organizers. Shravan, thank you very much for getting us the latest details. In fact, the ABVP has also filed a complaint on this entire matter. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to shift focus to the other big development taking place. It's an international story that I'm bringing to you tonight on This Is Exclusive, because there's a significant escalation of military activity that has been detected in Taiwan Strait with 12 People's Liberation Army aircraft, 8 People's Liberation Army Navy vessels, and 1 official ship operating around Taiwan up about 6 o'clock this morning. Now, the detection of such a large number of PLA aircraft and the PLAN vessels in the Taiwan Strait has raised some tensions in the region. Taiwan's military, in fact, is on high alert, closely monitoring the situation and responding accordingly. The government has issued a statement expressing concern over the PLA's activities and calling for calm. The international community has expressed concern over the situation, with many calling for restraint and diplomacy. The United States in particular has been monitoring the situation closely, given its interest in the region, and the escalation of the military activity in Taiwan Strait has the potential to destabilize the entire region and impact global security. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important to point out here that in a recent congregation that's taken place in Singapore, you've had the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, basically saying that whatever is actually happening in and around that region, with Beijing basically carrying out several drills, they are essentially rehearsing for the real deal. Now, this is what Pete Hegseth had to say. Now, what is it that essentially China wants to do? And this, according to the United States of America, asserting sovereignty claims, China is invading Taiwan. In fact, we are given to understand that this is one aspect that they still want to highlight. Let's take you through the other details of it. Now, it's important to point out here that deterrence and coercion is one thing that the Chinese essentially wants to carry forward with. Now, important to point out here that some of these exercises that have been carried out in that particular region basically focuses on sending across a message. The Chinese claim on the island has been what they say part of their history. And the deterrence coming in from the United States of America, remember, one of the major military supplies going into Taiwan is from the United States of America. The strategic preparation that we are basically talking about. What is the strategic preparation here? China may be essentially preparing for a potential conflict with Taiwan to secure its strategic interests. That could be including assets like Taiwan's ports, airspace, and the resources. What's the other reason? Global power projection. The global power projection, China's military exercises may be part of its broader strategy to bring in the influence in the Asia-Pacific region and even beyond? What could be the other reason why they want to basically carry on with what the United States of America believes, invading Taiwan? PLA's readiness and training. Now, this, remember, the exercises may be aimed at testing and also improving the People's Liberation Army, as well its capabilities, its tactics, and also looking at what kind of response can actually come in from the Taiwanese. Let's also now take you through some of the details coming in from Taiwan and how exactly are they responding. Alexander Huang is part of the KMT's International Affairs, one of the largest political parties in Taiwan. Alexander, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. I want to begin by asking you, Pete Hegseth, the Defense Secretary, basically says that whatever is actually happening right now is with one single aim. The aim is to invade Taiwan. Is that how you're
Well, they have always claimed that they will resolve the political differences across the Taiwan Strait between China and Taiwan, if necessary, by force. They have been having that position for over 50 years. They did not have the capability, but they do now. So we are more seriously in looking at the probability that they are taking, a series of military actions, coercions against Taiwan. We are very vigilant, and we are getting ready, and we are not compromising.
Alexander, with respect to what's really happening on the ground, as I understand this morning too, there have been multiple drills that have been carried out. Help us understand what's the situation like, and particularly, do you see an increased military activity on the part of the People's Liberation Army?
Yes, indeed. Actually, ever since the United States House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan in August 2022, China had for 3 years continued to exercise this gray zone coercion, encircling Taiwan and make the combat readiness patrol more normalized. So we can see, if not daily, but weekly, the Chinese military coercion surrounding Taiwan. It has been this way for almost 3 years. However, the international reaction does not help Taiwan's position. Only verbal, but not in action.
Alexander, do you really believe, is this some sort of a fear-mongering that's actually happening? Because when you have Pete Hegseth, one of the top defense officials from the United States of America, saying that it could be a reality. Invasion of Taiwan can actually be a reality. When it comes from the United States of America, particularly with the kind of dialogue that's happening between Taiwan and the United States of America, how worried should the international community be about the prospects of an invasion being carried out by the Chinese?
I think Secretary of Defense Hegseth's remarks today is reassuring, that we believe that the United States tried to send out and signaling the regional country that the United States is here to stay. The United States will continue to fulfill its commitment. However, Hegseth also said very strongly that the Asian allies needs to boost their own defense capability by investing more, by increase their defense budget. This is what Taiwan has been doing for years. Okay. And we know that the challenge is there, and we are at the front line. We are not taking an inch back. We will defend our homeland seriously.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alexander, for joining us on this broadcast and putting this into perspective. A significant statement now being made by the Secretary of Defense, and keeping in mind the recent military activities, perhaps the international community needs to take cognizance of what's really happening in the region. Thank you very much. Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. Coming up, the trending with my colleague Rakshita.